everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Cubica AMF Seeds of Success podcast. Each week, we will plant knowledge, insights, practical tips, and trends so your center can be a striking success. I am one of the hosts, Orly, and as always, we have Dottie with us. Dottie, how are you doing today?
I'm good, Orly. Hey, listeners. Good to have you back today.
I think everybody's excited to be back and have a new episode upon us here. Today, what we're going to talk about, and our show title is The Dirt on Cleaning. And Dottie, I know when it comes to you, you are a very clean person. You're clean yourself too. I was gonna mess that up, and that was gonna be weird, yeah. But yeah. Not only is Dottie clean, she likes a clean center. So Dottie, you want to explain a little bit more about what this show is going to be about today?
Yes, absolutely, Orly. Well, it is that time of year where everybody is talking about getting their center ready, cleaning. We've all heard spring cleaning, right? Kind of goes along with that March Madness that's going on and things along those lines. But when I think of spring cleaning in a center, there's a lot of things that go through my mind that we need to be mindful of, because when we think of keeping our centers nice, there's a lot of business that is contingent upon that.
Yeah.
So what I mean by that is, with it being spring cleaning and stuff, summer is just around the corner, right? So we have centers or families that are kind of planning out, what am I going to do with my kids this summer? We have daycare, childcare facilities that are trying to figure out what to do with their kiddos during the summertime. And one of the things that COVID did for us, and I just despise using that word. I despise talking about it. But you got to find the good in a situation. And I think one of the things that COVID did for us in this industry, in the bowling industry, is that it really forced us to take a look at how we did things and how we cleaned our house balls and our shoes and our facilities to make them safe. And we did a great job of getting the message out. We did a great marketing campaign saying, hey guys, bowling, is clean, it's safe. This is what we're doing in our facility. And we've never done that. Or for the majority of us had never really taken that messaging to the customers because we really didn't feel we had a need to. Yeah. But we found out people, had a big hang up of putting their hands on a house ball that other people had touched, especially during COVID. So I'm sure, Orly, that you as a parent, you are extra mindful of the cleanliness of things now too, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. All the time. We go into a store or something, or the kids are like, oh, can I go do this? And I'm like, that's kind of dirty. Don't touch that. You know what I mean? So you're quick to kind of say, hey, stay away from that. It's dirty. But if people know, people know that you're cleaning and keeping things clean, they're going to want to continue to come in.
Right. And so we really gathered a lot of momentum during COVID to make sure that we were communicating to our customers and letting them know all the things that we were doing for their safety, right? We were washing down the balls. We disinfect the shoes after every use. We're, telling them exactly what we're doing for their safety. And that message was also saying, you are important to us. You are important to us. And that's something that we should be doing all the time. But especially this time of the year where everybody's talking about cleaning and spring cleaning, and everybody that's listened to one of our podcasts before know I am very big on making sure that you are presenting a nice, clean facility. And you can do it. You can go through all emotions of doing these things, but if you don't let your customer know, you're missing part of it because you need to put that out in front of your customer.
Yeah, I did that before too. I would have staff go down, obviously clean when somebody's done, but if you even do it like double. So what I mean by that is, if somebody comes in and like, hi, can we get a lane, 3 people? Sure. It'll be ready in just a sec. I'm going to have such and such go down there and just give it a quick wipe down again. That way they're actually seeing you wipe it down. I think that makes a big difference.
Absolutely. And as we said at the beginning of this episode, you've got parents right now that are starting to think of, oh my goodness, school's getting ready to get out. What am I going to be doing with my kiddos? You've got some centers that are debating whether they're going to do, a summer program of any sort. Are we going to do the Kids Bowl Free program? Are we taking and doing anything else specifically for our childcare facilities and stuff like that? And if you make sure that you are marrying your programs with the things that you are doing for your customers' safety and making sure that you are very visible when it comes to your cleaning, make sure that you're visible. Let people, as you said, Orly, let people see you cleaning. And I'm going to go there, but another thing that a lot of people sometimes forget about is, especially when you are looking at going into the summertime where you're going to have families in there, make sure that you're paying attention to your restrooms, because as
Yeah.
a parent, you want to make sure that you are taking your child into a facility that's not got water all over the floor. Of course, that's a liability in a bowling center to get water on your bowling shoes. But also, just as a parent, they don't want to be using a facility that you walk through and you open the door and you are faced with a smell. And so make sure that you're looking at all of that when you are preparing your center for that group that's coming in during the summertime. But I want to specifically address the things that for mommies are a big deal, like the restroom, but also the balls. Make sure that you are taking proper care of your house balls, to make sure that you're inspecting them, to make sure that when those little fingers go in those holes, there's nothing sharp that's going to cut them, and things along those lines. And certainly, listeners, if you are not doing anything dedicated as far as making sure that you are checking those balls and cleaning your house balls on a routine basis, you need to get something on the books about that. The other thing is, and we've talked about this on previous episodes, is making sure that you have plenty of the lightweight balls available. If
Yeah.
you are going to be having a lot of childcare facilities coming in, a lot of kids in general coming in for the summertime, you want to make sure that you don't disappoint them by not having a lightweight ball available. And folks, if you don't have room on your racks for extra balls, consider purchasing some balls, drilling them up, and when you know you're going to have groups come in, pull out those balls just for those occasions. Put them on the racks of those groups coming in that are going to have the tiny little hands and the need for lighter weights. Same thing with shoes, right, Orly?
Same thing for shoes for sure. When you have a big group, especially these like school trips, or there might be a summer camp coming in, you got to think about it. If they're like, oh, we're bringing in 100 fourth graders, a majority of the kids are going to be about the same size. And I'm not saying you have to have 100 pairs of size 6 shoe, but the more the better. That way, if there's all these kids like, I'm a size 6, I'm a size 6, I'm a size, you don't want to be like, oh, we ran out of shoes after 3 kids. You guys have to take either a 7 or a 9 or you know what I mean? So make sure you have enough shoes. Take inventory of what you have. Maybe even ask your staff, if you're not dealing with the shoes and stuff that often, maybe ask your staff, hey, what are the most common sizes that we use? Maybe look at what shoes are more damaged. That could be also that they're being rented out a lot. So I think taking that inventory, knowing what you have, knowing what you might need, and just like you said about storing them, there's plenty of options to store your shoes in the back, and know what you have back there. That way, when you do run out, you could say, oh, it looks like we have more size 4 in the back. Let me go grab some more.
Yes, yes, 100%. The other thing I'm going to mention, since we are talking about just, the quote dirt on cleanliness, is take a look at your snack bar area, what the customer sees when they walk up. Make sure that you have somebody that is maintaining the counters, as people walk up, your condiment area, how when you've got a lot of kids in the center, sometimes they, as they're getting something, they may make a spill or whatever. Those are the little things. It
Yeah.
doesn't take very much to have somebody assigned to, ever so often go out and look at your counters. Make sure that your chairs that they're sitting down in or their booths whatever your facility has that they're going to be sitting on are clean. The other thing is take this opportunity to look at your trash cans.
Yeah.
The one thing that I can't stand is smell, and you've shared my secret before with listeners, Orly, that I do the sniff test, and I do. It's a huge turnoff to me when I walk into a facility and I walk past a trash can and I get a whiff that is just turns my
Yeah.
stomach. And I'm not unlike any other customer that walks through your facility. So moms, that's a huge turnoff to a mom if they walk past a trash can and they smell a smell. So, wash your trash cans out. Make sure that you sniff your stuff every now and then, right?
Yeah. A quick four that I'm going to throw out there. And the reason these four stand out to me is because, we've talked about this in the past where, me as a parent, if we walk into a place, let's just say we're going to use a restroom, and then the kids are like, oh, we're hungry. And you're already in this restaurant or, a bowling center. And you say, oh, we might as well just eat here too. But if you're seeing the bathrooms are dirty, you're probably gonna be like, let's go somewhere else. Or if something's dirty. So four that stand out to me that are kind of something you see right away. If you sit down at a table, your salt and pepper shakers, make sure those are kind of wiped down and not like dirty looking.
Yep.
Nobody, because that's things you see right away. Your napkin dispenser. I know not every center has napkin dispensers just on their table, but if you do, that's something people see right away. Your menus, that's a big one.
Oh,
And then,
yes,
yeah.
definitely.
And then even your tray that you're bringing out waters, because those are all things people are going to see before they even order. And if they see you're bringing out drinks on some dirty tray or your menus are gross and all sticky, your napkin dispense, these are all things that are, and again, like the chairs, like you said, I think those are very important because people see those before they order. And if they see something gross, they might be like, let's just get out of here and go somewhere else.
Well, you know what? Let's take that over to the bowling side, for example. So when somebody walks up, if your bowling counter, your customer service desk is cluttered and it's got a mountain of shoes that need to be sprayed and it's got smudges on the counter. Number one, that's a huge turnoff. But then when they get their rental shoes and they are handed their rental shoes and there's knots in the laces and the white is now gray, those are huge. That is a huge turnoff.
Yeah.
And, it doesn't take much to keep your shoes in tip-top condition. And so now is the time to go through those shoes and look at those shoes, make sure that they look nice. Now keep an abundance of rental shoes. Rental shoes, they're on sale from time to time, and they're not a huge investment to start off
Yeah.
with. And when you figure how many rentals you get on one pair of shoes, my goodness, they're a huge moneymaker. But they can be a huge dissatisfier for a parent or anybody for that matter. I don't like to put my foot into a shoe that looks like it's 20 years old.
Yeah. And on that same point, we were fortunate enough to have a new center, and not knocking any old centers, but I mean, you go into some centers and they've had the same shoes for years and I don't know if they're just being cheap and don't want to buy some, but that, it is a big thing that people notice because we would have people come in, it's a new center, brand new shoes. And the first thing they would always say is, oh, wow, your guys' shoes are so nice. Or, oh, these are like brand new. So that stood out to people. And another thing too, is just, there was the days of dark bowling centers, and nowadays just being lit up and they see how clean it is. That was another thing they mentioned. Like, oh, wow. I tell people about the center and tell them how new it looks and how clean it looks. It's not like an old bowling center, because back in the day, there was these dark centers that maybe weren't as clean, but it makes a huge difference when it's clean, your new shoes, all that stuff. It's very noticeable to customers and it's going to get them talking to other people about how clean your center is.
Yeah, for sure. And the other thing, we're talking about shoes. Well, the next step, once they get their shoes, obviously they need to find a house ball, right? If they don't already have a ball. And most of the kiddos coming in aren't going to have their own equipment. So, the other thing is make sure that your ball area is clean. Make sure that, like I said, you're making sure that your house balls are clean. And the other thing is, take the time to organize the house balls because if a parent is juggling multiple kids and they're going in and they're trying to help and they're having to look all over the place for the right weight ball or the right finger holes, make it easy for the customer. So, I know, for example, Cubica AMF has a smart ball system, and they can go find the size up at at the ball at the desk, and they make it really, really easy. But you can also do something to make sure that your staff is keeping those house balls organized throughout the course of open play during the summertime to make it easier for the parents. So do that. And then, of course, the next step is when they get into the bowling area. And so there's obvious things that just stand out. So when you are setting the expectations for your porters or lane attendants, make sure that after every single customer that they're wiping down that console, making sure there's no smudges. Every customer that walks into the bowling area ought to be greeted just as if it were the first customer for the day. Everything's nice and clean. There's no popcorn on the floor. The chairs are put under the table if you have movable chairs. The consoles are clean. Everything looks just like they were the first customer. If the first customer of the day gets that, every single customer thereafter should get the same thing.
Yeah, and just like you said, when it starts from the front door to the bathrooms, down to the lanes, your shoes, the balls, it's just everything. Another one I notice a lot when I've gone into places is the gutters. Even that, if you see those dust bunnies all accumulated up when you're going to throw your ball, you're like, oh, how long has that been piled up there? And that stuff doesn't take long to pile up. So make sure you're having somebody clean those gutters too, just with a mop, gutter mop. And what I've noticed is kids, like employees, like to do that for some odd reason. It's like a fun thing. So it's not like they're gonna be like, oh man, I have to dust the gutters. So
Yeah, they're on stage so that everybody
right.
in the center can watch them walk up and down the capping.
Yeah.
So, yeah, when it comes to cleaning, Orly, and I know we've done several shows on it, and people might think we're a broken record, but it has such a huge impact on your center. And, especially if you're looking to bring in more kids and families, they're going to be looking. They're going to have you under the microscope looking to see how clean you are. Make sure you get that message worked into all your marketing that their safety, your priority is cleanliness, because that's going to go a long ways, and that you're just ready for them. You're prepared. So, take that all the way. We can do a 5 or 6 different versions of a show on cleanliness and being prepared for the summertime. The one last thing I'm going to say, because we do have mechanics that follow us, mechanics, clean in your back end. Make sure you've got all your spare parts clearly labeled, because guess what? You're fixing to have an uptick of kids coming in. They're going to be rolling small balls down the lanes. You're going to be busy. So make sure you have enough spare parts and everything in inventory so that we can all have a very successful summertime. Well, Orly, thank you for agreeing to this topic. Again, I think we could do 5 or 6 more shows on it, because it is such a huge thing that we sometimes we take it for granted. We think that our centers are nice and clean, and we need to make sure that we're showing our customers and we are telling our customers that our centers are nice and clean. So thank you for your patience and letting me choose this topic again today.
Anytime.
Absolutely. Well, listeners, thank you so much. Please take a look at your center. Look at it through, through the lens of what would a parent see and what would a parent think, and what message am I putting out in my marketing? And, when the parent comes in, what are they seeing? Because it does make a huge difference, not just to parents, but just to your customers in general. But I know it makes a huge difference to parents, to the point that if it's not clean, they will often not go in that facility. So it does actually drive business if you're being nice and clean. So as always, listeners, we appreciate you tuning in to Orly and I today. We love what we do here. We love planting these little seeds for you. We hope that you get just one little nugget of information out of what we're sharing with you. And please remember to check us out on our podcast, subscribe to us so you get notification when we drop a new seed, and also encourage your staff. Have them go to whatever they listen to their podcasts on, and subscribe so that they too can learn. And you just never know. Maybe they get something different out of it than you get. So every now and then, talk about them in your staff meeting and see what they're learning from them. We would love to hear your feedback. So, listeners, remember, we do what we do because we want for you to be as successful as possible. And thank you for giving us this opportunity to share things that we think are going to help you take that next step and for you to continue to make bowling amazing. So, until next time, keep doing what you're doing and make bowling amazing and cha-ching that cash register.